Well, good evening, track gang. I think I'm live. I hope I'm live. Let me know. Chat's been going for about, I don't know, half an hour. Well, let's see if I'm actually. Hey, Manny. Hey, Rick. Rick was the first one on here, and Heath from Humanity Junction is here. Let's see. We had Ian from Lehigh River Subdivision. We've got Jerry Sutterilli. I know he was in here for a bit. I think he's still hanging around. Mr. Anthony Dodge, the Model Train Outsider. Welcome aboard. Steve Childers. He's hanging in there. Let's see. Who else have we got floating around in the chat so far? And I think that covered everybody. Let me know if I missed anybody. Hey, we got Carolina Foothills Railroad. We got Mr. Frank from Steeler Fan 820. And Mr. Randall Ellison. Folks, you'll have to excuse me. It's been a long freaking weekend. I have been helping my brother move for the last 2 days. I am extremely sore and worn out. He moved from a mobile to a 3-story townhome, and I tell you what, it's just. Pennsylvania Northwestern, welcome aboard. Mr. Marky Saunders, welcome. And Sparky. Yeah, I know. I'm 5 minutes early. Hey, John number 2 from the Schuylkill River Valley. Finally got that done. Okay. Darren, I did see your note on my last vlog, and yes, I know I've got issues with lighting and with specifically with that camera. I'm going to be working on that, so we'll get that straight. Let's see who else is in here. Hey, John 2618's hanging around in here somewhere too. Apparently, I didn't see him float through. Almar, welcome aboard. There's John, number 2618. We'll just make it easy. Oh, man. So I'm actually not watching the YouTube. I'm actually watching StreamYard because hey, Dwight, welcome aboard, sir. I actually got notification, and the reason why the chat has been going for about 45 minutes, I'm not sure if it actually got recorded or not, and I really don't care. What happened is as I was setting things up for tonight, because I'm going to do something a little different. I got notification that Logitech had upgraded their software. And, well, as you know, I just picked up a C922, and I had been using a Logitech C920. Well, when I got finished downloading their software, I found something very interesting. Now, the only problem is it will only allow you to do 2 cameras, which is fine because that's all I've got as far as Logitech goes. Hey, Fred Wild, welcome aboard. Hey, Corey from the AKVR, welcome in. So I was looking at it, and I'm like, well, I'm wondering if this is going to work out. Well, what is also unique is the fact that StreamYard will actually use the Logitech software if the Logitech software is actually active. So what am I getting at here? Well, let me show you what we've got going on. I can now go ahead and show you 2 different views. I can sit here and I can look at the screen, and I can present what I'm doing down here on the desk. Hey, Marcel from the Cloverdale Rail, welcome aboard, sir. Marty M, welcome in. Let's see who else popped in here. I think that's all that I see at the moment. I'm sure that we'll have a few more. It's still a little bit before 8. Like I said, I decided since I was messing around here and I was chatting with some folks. That's okay. Yeah, that's the only thing, Heath, is this will only work with Logitech cameras. And unfortunately, from what I'm seeing so far, it will only do it with two, which is fine. Because this is real easy to work with. I can actually, like I said, I can go back to the one camera. I can go back over to camera two. I can do insert either way. And then I can go ahead and make one or go in that direction. So I've got some options without having to go out and buy extra software. Let's see what the heck is going on in here. Oh, brother. Hey, Steve 87 PSAP. What's going on, sir? Hey, that's okay. We got you. Hey, Joe Rader, welcome in. So that's what this is. I mean, I literally now have a way of going between two different cameras without having any type of a delay. This would have been really nice to have last week when I was on the crossed anchors, but that's okay. That's fine. And I also found out that it doesn't like the one USB port. And I think I understand why. And I think Real Wicked Canadian brought this up once before. If you try putting both cameras in on the same hub, they won't work. They've got to be in two separate hubs. And thankfully, this computer actually has like 8 different USB ports on 3 different cards. So I can, like I said, I've got some options on this. So let's see. Everybody's still saying hey to everybody. That's good. That's good. So now you can kind of see over my, well, you can't see it that way. If I shift this way, I've got some stuff behind me that we're going to talk about. And I've also got some stuff sitting here off to my left that you can't see yet. And we're going to talk about that. So we're going to go ahead and we'll give it a few more minutes for everybody to kind of come in, sit down, relax, grab some popcorn, grab your favorite drink, and sit back and watch the show. Let's see, who else have we got popping in? Is there a topic? Well, Marcel, there is a topic. I'm just not sure what it is. No. Hey, Pasabayu, welcome in there, bud. Now, folks, just so that you know, Heath brought this up on his live stream 2 weeks ago. Everybody knows him as an N-gauge model railroader or an N-scale model railroader with his modules, and he actually went ahead and pulled out all of his HO scale stuff a couple weeks ago and got to show that off. Well, I'm going to go and show you all what I used to, or what I messed with for about, I guess it was about 5 years. 5 years ago, or not 5 years ago, but in the late 90s, after my middle brother moved out of the house, he had left his bed behind, and I had actually turned that, because the railroading bug was still brewing. I mean, because of the fact that when I was in the service, my family had moved to get into a better school district for my 2 younger brothers. And yeah, I know the late 90s. That's why I said, trust me, Heath, there's going to be a lot of stumbling tonight because of the fact that, like I said, I am absolutely beat. But anyway, so, he had moved out and left the bed frame behind. And what I decided to do is I started pulling out my great-grandparents and my grandparents' N scale. And I actually built a layout that I called the Penn Central Hummelstown Division, which was literally an N-gauge test bed layout, literally a test bed. It was built on a bed. In fact, I just happened to come across an old Polaroid of what I had been working on. And as you can see, it is literally sitting on the bed. That is 3 feet wide and 6 feet long. So, yep, that's the old N-gauge railroad. So it was literally a folded dog bone. I know someplace I've got pictures on one of my other YouTube videos that I did years ago. So your voice doesn't match your lips. So I've got do I have a delay? And it might be because I'm running me. Let me take a look at something here a minute. Let's just go back to default and see what happens there. If it changes, let me know. I wish I. Okay. All right. Well, it might be one of those wonderful YouTube things again that we're going through. Okay here, okay there, okay. All right. Well, that's cool. All right. Somebody was saying that there was an issue. Somebody was saying that there was an issue. They were trying to get some help. Having an issue with a steam locomotive from Atlas. Sorry, Darren. Unfortunately, I don't have any Atlas steam locomotives. I can't help you there. I would have been, if I did, that would have been nice. No. Oh, boy. Anyway, so let's go ahead and I'm going to try it this way first, and we'll see what happens. If it doesn't work out, then I'll drop my wonderful mug down, and you know what? The heck with it. We'll just go over to camera 2, period. How's that? All right. So it was funny because I was talking to, and I'm going to try and zoom this in a little bit more. See if that works. Maybe, maybe not. Hey, there we go. No, that's too much. Okay. I was talking with the Sidetrack Sunday guys at one point about, you know, I've got some really old N-Gage stuff. And this here was actually put out by a company called Aurora, you know, the old slot car company. And it was a thing that they called postage stamp trains. And I still have the original box. It's sitting back in the storage area. I wasn't going to go digging it out. So you know what? We'll do this. Let me go back to the 2-camera view here for a minute. And yeah, that way. There you go. Obviously it's a Pennsylvania F7. So, you know, this is one of the old N-Gage. And the set that it came with a set of 5 passenger cars. And you know what? We're just going to go back over to camera 1 because I don't like the view on camera 2 for the moment. So there are the passenger cars that came with that set. And there's a dome car down here. You've got your observation car, and then you've got 3 coaches. So, you know, this set was unique. This belonged, like I said, it belonged to my great grandparents. And then when they passed away, they gave it to my grandparents. And then, of course, I eventually ended up with it. So that was one set. Put those over to the side. And put those up there. We'll put that up there. Is Jerry still hanging around in here, Mr. Sutterilli? Because I'm going to take the top of this off so we don't get any glare. Anybody ever seen N-Gage trolley cars? So yeah, there's a pair of Bachmann. I believe these were Bachmann trolley cars for N-Gage. So these like I said, we I think we picked these up for my father's parents because they had a small layout, but they had those, so that was their thing. It was on their layout. Let's see, that was stuff that I bought. That was stuff that I bought. I think some of these were things that I had picked up, or actually some of that came from. All right. Okay. Sorry, I have to keep swinging around here, but the thing is I have got. Put that back here for a minute. Some of these I know were parts of sets, and some of them were bought individual. So, this, all right, this is the dummy. No, not the guy sitting in the chair of the locomotive, and it just came apart on me. These poor things have been beat up, to say the least. All right, well, we're not going to fool with the dummy engine. Anyway, I did have another set of postage stamp cars. So these obviously you got a gondola, a cattle car, and a box car, and a Santa Fe caboose. And I think the actual Santa Fe locomotive that came with the set, I think the motor went up in it. So that's the reason why what's in this box now is a dummy. I wish the darn thing would stay together to where I could actually pick it up and show you, but it doesn't want to. It doesn't want to stay together. So, but that was another set. And then the last set is the last set was all Bachmann. So, and it really gets me that they've got that sticker on the upper right-hand side that says guaranteed for life. Right. These are all the old Rapido. The old Rapido couplers that don't look anything like a typical coupler. These are just hooks. I don't know how well that's actually showing up, but yeah, that's all it is. That's all that these have are those old Rapido couplers. So that was the locomotive. Actually, there's two locomotives here, and they're both Santa Fe's. And this was all part of the Bachmann set that my father's parents had. And these are marked as F9s. I don't know. I always thought that they were F7s. Hey, Sparky, this one here is up your alley, buddy. Good old Canadian National. And of course, we have a Chesapeake and Ohio boxcar. And like I said, these were all one set. This is Pittsburgh and Lake Erie. Another gondola car. And like I said, these are from the 60s. We also had this here was actually from Aurora, Carnation Milk. And if you notice on the box, there you go, Aurora postage stamp trains. I wish I could get it to where the light isn't shining off of it. And these do have metal wheel sets. Unlike their HO brethren, these all came with metal wheels. And of course, no train back in those days was not complete without a caboose. Hey, welcome aboard, Mr. Georgia Sunbelt. So let me get these off to the side so we can bring up the next batch of stuff. Because I don't quite have the extensive collection that Heath had on the HO, but I do have quite a bit of N-gauge or N-scale stuff here. So we're going to go ahead and bring down the last of it. because some of this was picked up newer. Some of it is still on the older side. Let's see. This is probably from the 80s or 90s, but you've got a Chicago, I think this is a Chicago Great Western. No, Chicago Northwestern, I'm sorry. Cattle car. Yeah, Heath, N scale takes up a lot less space. There's no question. No question. Well, staying on the cattle car theme, this here happens to be, that was a Lifelike. Here's an Atlas unit. This happens to be, oh, too bad that Jason the Train Freak isn't in here. That's Missouri Pacific. That's Mopac. Then thing is, I just noticed this says Atlas, but on the bottom it says it was made in Yugoslavia. Kind of tells you how old this stuff is. Let's see, what else have we got down here? I think I picked this up a few when I was messing around with that other layout, or when I started building that layout. This is actually the Chattahoochee Railroad, and it was just one of those things that had a unique paint scheme to it. I'd never seen another one like it. Now this here says it came from Hillshire, New Jersey. So yeah, these cases are neat. No, I'm not changing scales, Anthony. This is a throwback. This is a throwback. Here we've got a Baltimore and Ohio Sentinel boxcar, which I actually have one of these in HO scale too. These will actually be going to my brother, who I just got finished helping move. Eventually, they'll go to him. I don't know when that's going to be. Here's another Aurora postage stamp. This one here is a flat car that is from the Western Maryland. Now, the funny thing of it is I actually do have a Western Maryland flat car in HO scale as well. So, and like I said, there you go. There's the postage stamp Aurora. Like I said, these are definitely showing their age. Let's see what we've got here. This here says 99 cents. Where in the heck can you pick up a piece of rolling stock these days for 99 cents? I don't see that happening. I would actually love to be able to find this in HO scale, but I don't think I've ever seen it. This is a Jack Frost. Well, it was. Oops. Okay, let's try that again. See if I can get my fat fingers out of the way here. That is a Jack Frost tank car. And like I said, I've never seen another one like it. And this is a Lifelike. Yeah, this came from Lifelike. Chemical tank car, one dome, Jack Frost. Okay. Nipping at your nose. Don't go there. Don't do that. I actually did not that long ago pick up one of these in HO scale. Same livery, the yeah. Same railroad. This happens to be an Atlas unit. So now that we're done with some of the older stuff, what do we got going? eBay, 99 cents with $20 shipping. Yeah, right. Let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we've got here. All right, so now we're going to get into some newer stuff. Yeah, I say newer, but if you look at the package, it says KB Toy and Hobby. This happens to be obviously a Bachmann Western Maryland hopper car. These are things that I picked up while I was working on that test bed layout. And these I picked up 3 for $10. Did they use screws to hold the truck? I don't know if they. I think for some of these they were pinned. I think a lot of these were pins. I don't think they. I don't think they actually use screws. Some of them they may. Now this one here apparently fell apart on me. Oops. I'm guessing that's what all the extra parts are that were floating around in the bottom of the. This is a Craft refrigerator car. Obviously another Bachmann. I just noticed I went to take it out of the package and realized half its wheels are gone. Yeah, KB Toy and Hobby was an old chain hobby store. They sold a lot of Bachmann and Lifelike railroad stuff back in the day. They sold model planes, boats, whatever. They also had they had some other stuff in there too. I loved going in there because you could go in there like they were saying. I mean, you could go in there. I picked up these 3 cars. It was actually I'll just bring them back up together. All 3 of these were $10 back in the day. I can't tell you exactly when I picked them up, but it was probably the mid to late 90s. So $10 for 3 cars. That was a steal as far as I was concerned. So we also have a Penn Central boxcar. I think this is a 50-footer too in end scale. Yep. Plug door. So, and one more locomotive. We've got a Lifelike end scale Pennsylvania. This is an FA2. Now, I don't have any FAs on my layout, on the HO layout. So, hey, Dave P., welcome aboard. I think there's been, hey, Mystic Southern. I know I've missed some people. I'm sorry. The chat's been rolling, and I've been doing show and tell over here. Yeah, this is a nice locomotive. I mean, and it's heavy, too. I don't know what the year was that this came out, unfortunately, but it is a nice locomotive. Like I said, it's another one of those ones that I wouldn't mind finding an HO scale, but I kind of stopped looking for a while because I've got I was on Anthony's show on Friday, and they were talking about how many locomotives. I think it was Heath's show. I'm sorry, Heath. It was your show where we were talking about locomotives, and I said, yeah, I've got 75 locomotives in HO scale. So, yeah, I've got quite a few. When is the giveaway for my brother would kick my butt. Like I said, these are all going to him. These now that he's got a house, he's looking, maybe we'll go ahead and put something together for him. So, but here's one that my father and I picked up from my grandparents, and I forgot why we did, but we did. And I think it was because of the fact that my grandmother had said something about the fact that she wanted a small steam engine. Well, we found a small steam engine. I'm hoping it gets in the focus here. There we go. That's a 440. That was one of the ones from the Golden. I think it came from the Golden Spike. So it is an old wood-burning steam locomotive, but it is a steam locomotive nonetheless. And I'm not sure where we picked this one up from because there's no markings on this box at all. I mean, zilch. So, yeah, I mean, like I was saying before. Hey, Ray, I have that Jack Frost. I have it in the boxcar. I have it in the tanker, and I have it in. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, like I said, I don't think I've ever seen it in HO scale. So, yeah, but this one here wasn't sold in the set, Randall. This one here was sold by itself. As you can see it, but the Bachman, and of course I can tell it was a Christmas present because the up here is where the price used to be, and it was taken off. So it was obviously a present for my grandparents. So, hey Ray, when you start your brother's layout, make sure he starts a YouTube channel and you give him the great. All right, Sparky. All right, Sparky. So that is that's the last of the N scale. That's all I had at the N scale. Now I think I am going to switch over to the overhead cam here for a minute. I'm going to back this back out I think it was at 200% when I was messing with it before. So we'll back out. Well, let's go 250 and see what that looks like. There we go. He would have a problem. Oh, man. See them in the historic rail catalogs. Okay. All right. Here it is. I'm talking. I'm looking at the screen. You guys can't see me, but that's beside the point. Anyway, Mr. Heath the other week was talking about the fact that he had a set. Well, this is actually the second one of these that I've got, because the first one, the motor burnt up in. So this here is the DeWitt Clinton. And as you can tell, I'm not going to take it out of the box, because this one here this I gave to my daughter years ago as a present. This was something for her and I to use together on the railroad. So this is the same exact one that Heath showed 2 weeks ago. The only difference is he had just the cars. I don't know if you had the track or not, Heath. This one here is a lot newer. It actually has the Bachman Easy Track in it. So, like I said, I'm not going to go taking it all apart because, well, we've already kind of talked about that guy. But I'm going to stick that back here for the moment. And we're going to go into this. So that's what it's supposed to look like. This is the Lafayette, or I'm sorry. Let me back that up. This is the John Bull. This is a neat set too. This one my father looked at years ago, and we were going to pick it up, but he didn't like it. He said it was too drab. As you can see, it's all green. The neat thing with these sets, and I noticed there are a couple people talking about them, these sets are really unique in the fact that the locomotive is just a dummy. The actual motors are in the tenders, and they actually push the locomotive down the track. There was an entire series, Heath. Yes, these were the original. Locomotives that started out in the United States. This one here, it was the John Bull, honors the world's oldest operational locomotive, built by Robert Stevenson and Company of Newcastle, England. For Robert L. Stevens, chief engineer of the Camden and Amboy Railroad, the John Bull arrived disassembled in Philadelphia in August of 1831, and in just 10 days, the locomotive was reassembled in Bordentown, New Jersey, thanks to the remarkable efforts of a mechanic named Isaac Drips. Limited service began in 1832, with regular service instituted in 1833. So this was originally a British locomotive. So, hey, there's Jason. He'll have to go back and take a look at what I showed earlier. You would have liked it there, Jason. I've actually got a Mopac cattle car in N scale. So, but this was the John Bull. They've got some other things. What's really neat is up here they've got a history of what the set was. So I think they did have a rocket set, but I've got one more sitting over here. And this one here is a little bit more closer to home for me. This is the Lafayette. This was the locomotive that the Baltimore and Ohio started with. This started with the United States' first common carrier railroad. The Baltimore and Ohio was established on July 4th, 1828. The B&O's founders included esteemed Charles Carroll, the last surviving signer of the Declaration of Independence, as well as many renowned bankers and merchants. This locomotive is the Lafayette was the first 420 locomotive. It is a true original in the railroad industry. And if, you know what, this one here I'm actually going to bring out. Because this, like I said, there is a lot of history around me because of the fact that I'm not that far from Baltimore. So we'll break this out. And again, what is really fascinating with these is the fact that the locomotive, actually this one here is not. This one here actually has, the motor is actually in the boiler. Or not in the boiler. Let me go ahead and switch cameras here a second. Let's go back up here. This piece here is where the motor sits. They claim that they also call these one-armed billies because of the way that the side rods were set up. Oh, come on, focus. Focus! Come on, you can do it. There we go. There we go. So even though that these were sets, they did put a lot of detail into these, and believe it or not, but there is a replica of this that sits in the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Museum in downtown Baltimore. Yeah, these locomotives, all three of them, do not run very well. They were unique sets only because of the fact of what they were, the history that they represented. I just think these cars are really cool. I mean, and yes, these are HO scale. You know, these are HO scale, but these cars, I mean, there's no detail underneath, but it's just what they represent as far as history goes. You know, I mean, I guess they're really back in those days. Obviously, you didn't have all the air brakes and things of that nature, you know, on these things because, well, number one, they didn't go that fast. They weren't supposed to go that fast. But, you know, and then, of course, like I said, this is all Bachmann. This set's a little newer than the original ones that I had of the DeWitt Clinton. This is all Bachmann Easy Track, which makes it really nice because if you actually caught last year around Christmas time, I said I wasn't going to have a locomotive or a train running by Christmas. Well, I decided to break out I think I broke out the John Bull and actually ran that across the table that's behind me that I now use as a desk. Bananas on the sides, yeah. I think really what it was, Anthony, I think what they did is they actually took Coachworks and actually just mounted them to a flat car. It almost looks like, and that's how they came up with the cars. I mean, if you look, you've got even the spots on the back where it would have been like a stagecoach. So I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, it was just really, really cool what they did. I mean, a lot of these older trains, that's well, the DeWitt Clinton, that actually is, let me go ahead and put this off to the side for the moment. with the DeWitt Clinton, oh, what the hey. What the hey. Yeah, they still went first. Exactly. Now, you know what? Before I go ahead and do a show and tell, you can tell with this one here, I've actually still got, obviously everything is in here. I had actually pulled the power packs out of the other two for an experiment that I was running. But anyway, so let's go back over here to camera one now. Back over here. I'm going to show off the locomotive first. But as I was saying before, the locomotive doesn't do anything. The gearing is in the tender. The tender actually runs the locomotive. One of these days, once I get things straightened out behind me, I might put this on the layout, or one of these on the layout, and run it around. But the problem with these is the fact that if the tracks aren't 100%, and if you don't have things right, and they don't like switches. And of course, I've got plenty of switches on the layout, and I've also got a couple of 19-degree crossings. There's no way that these things will ever make it across there. No, I'm not putting it up there right now, Heath. But we were talking about the cars that get pulled behind this. They are actually a stagecoach. They literally modified the stagecoach. And I wish it would focus. Come on, focus. Focus. And it's not going to. No, I'm not. Like I said, Heath, I'm not putting these up there right now anyway. But, like I said, it's literally a stagecoach. And the only thing they did is they just put, flanged wheels on the bottom and put it on the tracks. And these things have got absolutely, the reason why I say you don't run them on the layout, I'm not going to run them on the layout, is the other problem that they've got, and I'm sure Heath can tell us too, there is absolutely no weight to them at all. I mean, there's none. I mean, they are extremely light. Well, because there's no place to put weight. Let me put this back in the box. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Randall. They were not. I think, to be honest, and that's one of the reasons why they stay in these boxes. I think they were meant to be bought and collected. I don't think they were really ever meant to be run, or not run for any length of time. Diesel. Oh, for Pete's sake. Yeah, they are. I mean, yeah, John, they certainly are. They are great pieces to put off to the side, and and have as a collector's piece. I mean, I've got some other sets in the back, but I wasn't going to bring them all out because I've actually had them on the layout this year. I've actually got an old Mantua. I've got two Mantua collector sets in the storage area down here. One of them is called the Fastball Express. It had the 6 most recognizable baseball teams in the United States. Let's see if I can rattle them off, if I can remember them. The Yankees, the Orioles, the Cubs, Yankees, Orioles, Cubs, Indians, Braves, and Dodgers. So those teams are in that. And then the other one that Mantua put out was called the Super Bowl Express. And it had every team that had ever won a Super Bowl up until they stopped making the thing because they went out of business. Now, one of the things that when I was actually a sports fan, which I haven't been for years, I was kind of mad with Mantua, and I actually sent them a letter because they had this team in Indianapolis as winning one of the Super Bowls, and I'm like, no, they didn't. That was Baltimore that won that. That team never won a Super Bowl. So I was a little bit ticked with that. And they kindly sent me a letter back saying, we're sorry that you feel that way, but we had no choice. That's what the NFL told us to do. And I basically said, okay, well, the NFL can kiss my butt. So that was the beginning. That was really the beginning of the end of with me with the whole football thing, at least American football. And well, I've given up on all professional sports at this point. The John Bull. Now, you can see the gears in there. So this here is another one where the tender pushes the locomotive. And the detail actually for this set with this locomotive is, to me, for what it is, it's fairly insane. There we go. That's the Lafayette. I'm sorry, that's John Bull. I keep getting these mixed up, folks. I'm sorry. Like I said, it's been a long weekend. And again, like I said, just like before, the locomotive wheels don't do anything; they just spin. And this is a 2. Yeah. So 240. But, like I said, for the detail, for what it is, I do like these sets. So I'm going to put this back in the box before it gets broke. And that's the other neat thing too. They didn't bother to tell you, but when you actually put this on the locomotive, it's supposed to sit. This is the front. This face is rear, but when you put it in the box, this is where the locomotive it sits in the box backwards. Because the first time I think I ever put it on, I'm like, why the heck is this thing? What's going on here? This ain't working. Yeah, that's because I had it together backwards. Let me go ahead and get this back in the box. All right. So I've also got, and I didn't bother to bring it out either, because I've had that on the layout this year, and that was my 1776 stuff. Hey, Lee. So, it was, I've got the one Tyco set, which was a steam locomotive and 3 cars. The steam locomotive is a piece of junk. It never did run right. And then I've got a lifelike set that had the original 13 colonies. It was basically split partial refrigerator cars. The other part of them are gondolas. And I think it's split like 6-7 or something like that. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Randall. I mean, it's the sets were not. I don't think they were really ever designed to be run for any length of time. They were meant to be put on, put on a shelf and used as a display piece. Which I think is cool. I mean, it's you're supposed to be paying attention to. Hey, I can be a salesman. Not that I want to be, but hey. But, those things were, when I was a kid, obviously my middle brother was actually born in 1976. He was a bicentennial baby. And my grandmother bought him or bought us a set to kind of pay homage to that, because of the fact that Tyco had one and Lifelike had one. Well, like I said, he got the Tyco one, the locomotive, the American locomotive with the 3 cars. And I guess it was a year or 2 later, my dad and I popped into one of the hobby shops that used to be near us. They're no longer in business. and they had the full lifelike 13 colony train set up on a shelf up on the wall. And we're talking, what, in the late 70s, early 80s, and the guy wanted $300 for the set. And my father says, you can keep on looking all you want. We ain't getting it. And I'm like, okay, fine. So it's kind of like what Heath's doing now. I guess it was about 10 years ago, may have been less than that. I was on eBay looking around, and somebody was selling the 13 colony train set, and I picked it up. Now, one of the things that irked me with it was the fact that the lifelike locomotive of the time was actually a knockoff of the old Revell locomotives. It wasn't a rubber band drive. It was what I called the meat grinder drive. The gears were wide open. They actually put the motor on top of the truck, and the gear that ran the wheels was actually exposed. So, I mean, there was like, when I got the thing, I'm like, there's no way I can run this locomotive. I can't. You know, this thing's going to spew lubrication all over the freaking place. And of course, with the way that the layout was set up at the time, you know, half the tracks were hidden. It's like, no, that's not going to work. So what I ended up doing for one of the July 4ths, I actually turned around and took the shell off and put it on an Atherin frame and ran it around the layout like that. So that was good. Thanks, Steve. Well, you know, Darren, I mean, they could be. Like I said, I picked these sets up. Let's see. I want to say like 2003, 2004 was the last time when I actually picked them up. So, you know, it's been a few years. But I every once in a while, you'll still see them at the train shows. You'll still see them floating around eBay. You know, I mean, like you said, they're collector's pieces. You know, I mean, it's to me, they're just cool to sit here and watch them run. And like I said, they'll run on HO gauge track, but you just can't have crossovers and switches all over the place because their wheelbase is too short. They'll stall out on every one of them. Randall. You know what? One of the things I forgot to bring over here. Oh, man. You reminded me of something I had forgotten. Well, no, I didn't forget that I had. And I just got hit with a spider web. Sheesh. I got to do something about the spiders down here. Ziggy Stardust and the spiders from Mars. Does it only turn... Jeez. That was a good one, Heath. That was a good one. Somebody just mentioned the Dale Earnhardt set. So I've got that one too. Now, the thing that made me mad with this is the fact that Hawthorne Village, when they decided to send this thing up, I think it was $75 for the first one. And then each one of these is an extra $75, and they would send them to you like every 2 months. But the cars are really cool. I mean, the pieces of rolling stock are really neat. The stuff that the way that they did these was really, really cool. They had to pay for a ride on the trains. So I only got 3 pieces of this thing before I decided to tell them they needed to go beat feet. So I got the locomotive, the F7. This is an F7 or the F7A. This is the F7B. and then the one passenger car, and then that was it. Now, what is also fascinating is, what did I do with it? I brought it down. That's what I did with it. The Friday night, when I got to the bowl, before I got to the bowling alley Friday, before I got to the bowling alley, one of the guys, well, he's actually my vice president for the league, said, "Hey, I've got something that you might be interested in. Do you want it?" And he gave me that. Now, here again, like I said, I kind of gave up on professional sports. But when it comes to trains, I'll make an exception. And I didn't have to pay anything for it. But the only problem is that's all he had. It was given to him. And this came from the same people that made the Dale Earnhardt set. It came from Hawthorne Village. And, well, like I said, I got a feeling I know what happened with this guy, too. He was like, yeah, we're not doing this. After the first couple of pieces, it's like, yeah, this is ridiculous, guys. Really? Oh, man. So let's see here. Due to tell the spiders they have to pay for... Hey, D.W. Cobb, somebody new. I don't recognize you. Welcome aboard, sir. Let's see. What else have we got? Do you have the McCormick set? I don't ever think I've seen the McCormick set, Jason. I'll have to go taking a look for that. Bradford Exchange now. No, I think Hawthorne Village is still around. I don't think they changed, or did they? Yeah, okay. Randall's telling Steve they did. Okay. Does the bottom... That was bad, Steve. Really? Maybe since the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, then I don't know if they will or not. I don't know. I don't know if they will or not. There's a lot of companies out there that'll do things like that. They'll do special runs. And the thing is with Hawthorne or now Bradford, they had hooked up with Bachman, and I think that the Train Freak actually had talked about, maybe he didn't, with the Boy Scouts of America. They actually have a train set that was put out by somebody, but it was made by Bachman, but Bachman doesn't support it. If something goes wrong with it, you're kind of out of luck. The whole Dale Earnhardt set, Heath, or just one car? That's what I'd like to know. Sorry, I was trying to readjust. I've got a brace on my left knee, so that's why I was trying to get that straight. But yeah, the whole set, really, that's not a good sign. You buy it, Heath. Like I said, I know a lot of different companies have done special runs like that for different things. I've seen, somebody had just brought up an Elvis set, a John Wayne set. There was years ago when I was on the bulletin boards before YouTube really came into being. I was on the Model Railroader magazine bulletin board, and this lady had posted that she had a set and she was trying to figure out what it was worth. And one of the guys in there was like, well, what is it? And she said, well, it belonged to my dad. And it was a set that was made by the Zenith TV company. If anybody remembers back in the day, Zenith was one of the bigger, but they were a big competitor of RCA. And she said her dad had gotten it for working there. And, the guy was like, well, do you have the Dale Earnhardt Revell set? No, it's not a Revell. This one here is a Bachman put out by Hawthorne. But anyway, he told her, well, it was put out by Atherton back in the day. He said it's probably worth maybe 75, maybe $100. He said, I don't think you're going to see much more than that. And she said, okay. Well, I think it was like a day later. She said, if anybody's interested, it's up on eBay with a minimum bid of 50. And I'm like, all right, let me go take a look at this. So I went over and looked. The thing was brand new, still cellophaned in the package. It had never been opened. And I'm looking at it going, you have got to be kidding me. It's the AB set with one passenger. Yeah, it's the same thing I've got. There was more to the Dale Earnhardt set than what I've got. But anyway, so I decided I'm going to go ahead and just watch this thing and see what it does. It was on there for a week. So the first couple of days, there was a couple of bids thrown out. I think it was up like to like $60, 50, 57, 50. It was 57 or $60. The last 6 hours that set was up on eBay, it went from 100 to 125 to 150 to 175. It hit 200, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Then it stopped for a little bit. The last 45 minutes to an hour, it went up again. The final bid on that set was $400. And I'm thinking to myself, who in their right mind was going to pay $400 for that set? Well, it just so happened the guy that picked it up was one of the guys that was on the Model Railroader bulletin board. Come to find out, his grandfather worked for Zenith, retired 2 months before they gave out that set. They only gave out 150 of them, I think it was. And his grandfather was pissed. So, because of the fact that they handed this thing out right after he left, right after he retired. And he was apparently into trains. So it really made him mad. And this kid had been looking for that set for a long time. And he says, I would have paid more for it if they would have kept pushing. And I'm thinking to myself, that's good. Hey, way to go, buddy. So anyway, what the Dale Earnhardt, if you buy a Bachmann logo that has Bluetooth supported through a third party, yeah, that's what Jason was talking about. Did you ever get that resolved? Going to bring the house to the, okay, did you get the display case for them all? And Heath waiting on a response. Did I get a display case for these? No, I did not. Not for the Dale Earnhardt set. I do, however, and you guys saw one of these the other week. Actually, you saw both of them. I'm just going to bring one of them over, because I'm not going to drag both of those off the display shelf. This, and of course I just noticed it's off the track. Well, I've got the plastic on here. Let me take that off. The Lexan. Mantua Industries, back in the 90s, did a bunch of these unique locomotives. I say unique. I shouldn't say unique. They were special to the railroads. This is obviously from the Southern. This is the Crescent Limited. For each one of these, they only made a limited run. I believe it was 2,500 units were made. This is a die-cast 462. And the only difference with this is the fact that they put extra detail to it. And this isn't a normal run of their trains. Mantua made an awful lot of these 462s and 282s. This does not have sound in it. It is not a DCC locomotive, Heath. This is a DC locomotive. This came out before DCC was really even a big thing. I'm trying to put it back on the tracks here. There we go. But I've got two of these. I've actually got this one, and I've got the Baltimore and Ohio President Washington. And one of the reasons why I picked this up is just because of the fact that I like the looks of the locomotive. This is the first one I saw. Now, what is also interesting with this, and I probably really shouldn't have been touching it without a glove on, the lettering on this is actually gold leaf. I mean, that's what I mean with the detail. They actually do have all the brass that you see on here is actual brass. The locomotive itself is die-cast, but all the detail parts are brass. I mean, and this thing is not a light piece. And of course, they sold it with the base and the neat little piece of Lexan that goes over top, so that you can put it on your display case and keep it from getting dirty. And like I said, I've got that one. I went to move it and it fell over. Thankfully, it fell over onto the plastic. It didn't actually fall off the case too hard. Let's see here. Hey, Rapido makes the cases. That's nice. I'm trying to get this one. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to get this one on the track since it wanted to take a dive on me. Oh. All right. And of course, what I probably should have done is I probably should swing over to the other camera too, because there's more detail on these on top as well. Again, you know, all the parts that are on here are brass, and the lettering and all that. This is the Baltimore and Ohio President Washington. They did, like I said, they made a whole bunch of these, and I really wish I would have picked up a few more. But these locomotives were not cheap. Back in, like I said, this was back in the 90s, and these locomotives ran, I think they were running about 150 to 175 a piece without the base, and if you got the base, it was $200. So I mean, these were not cheap locomotives back then. I think the detail on this is really cool too. If you look underneath the tender here, does anybody know what that? I know what that is, but does anybody else know what that little thing is sitting there in front of the truck? Anybody have a clue as to what that little thing is there? That's sticking down underneath the frame of the tender. That's what you got it. You got it, Sparky. That's a water scoop. That's where they used to fill. If they were on a run and there was no water tanks nearby, they would go ahead and scoop the water off of a stream or whatever as they were running. I was like, that's a neat detail. That's something that you don't see all the time. So, and like I said, I mean, these things are nice. I'm going to go ahead and put the top back on here, and we'll drop it back down. But even on, like I said, even on top, I mean, the hand railings, the bell, all that is brass. I'll take the Southern Crescent. No, I'm sorry, I'm not getting rid of it, Anthony. One of these sets that I picked up from Mantua, I think I got like number 50. So I'm definitely not giving up on that one. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, they would lay a water trough in the middle of the track. Yep. It was a unique way of refilling the tender, and then they could do it on the fly. Of course, doing it on the fly was really, you really had to be watching to see those, Anyway, it's kind of like playing a piano by ear. It really hurts the ears. It's usually better to play a piano with your fingers. Oh, anyway, let's see. What else have we got going on there? Do these locomotives run, or are they display only? They will run. I actually did have them on the layout, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I actually did have them running. I do not run them a lot. Normally with my display sets and my collector sets, I'll run them once a year, and that's it. It's put them on the layout, let them go around once, and then that's it. They're done. They're back in their boxes, or they're back into their display cases. I don't want to risk them. Let's put it that way. I'm not saying that the work that I've done back here is substandard, but considering the fact, especially with these last 2 steam locomotives, the company that made them is no longer in business. They've been gone. They went out probably 22 years ago, and nobody picked them up. So there are no parts for these anymore. If they go bad, they go bad, and that's it. You actually would have to pick up you'd have to pick up a beater unit, and hope that it's got decent parts in it, and hope that the outside's messed up, but hope that the inside, the mechanicals are still in good shape. Because otherwise you're going to be dealing with, whatever. But yeah, like I said, I do not run these. And these collector sets do not sit anywhere near the floor. Normally, I know I just put them on the floor over here, but I'm sitting here. I've actually got a set of shelves. Some of the shelves are right around the corner here that I use for display. But the bigger sets, like the Lafayette, the John Bull, and the DeWitt Clinton, there's actually shelving in my storage area that they're up off the floor, and they're nowhere near a water line either. So that way they're away from any type of possibility of getting messed up. But yeah, thank you for that, Randall. That was a good question. Yeah, I just don't, like I said, I just don't see the point in. And the funny thing of it is I picked up that Southern Crescent Limited unit, and I think it was 2 years later, I actually found passenger cars for it to pull. But after I thought about it, I'm like, I don't want that locomotive pulling the passenger cars. So, I actually bought, there's an F unit that I bought that actually pulls the Southern Crescent passenger cars now. It's not the right locomotive for the passenger cars, but it's a Southern locomotive. So take it easy, Lee. Good night, buddy. So like I said, I mean, it's my railroad. I'll run what I want. Like I said, that was one of the reasons why I picked up. They are unique locomotives. I really wish I would have picked up a couple more. Like I said, I really wish I would have picked up a couple more. I know I've got a couple of guys in here from Pennsylvania. We've talked about my Gem Brass 040 Camelback, Mantua, and somewhere I've still got the catalog. I'll have to see if I can find it again. They actually did a locomotive for the Pennsylvania, a steam locomotive for the Pennsylvania. They did one for the Reading, which was, if I'm not mistaken, and John from Schuylkill or Heath might know. I see that Heath's going to take the dog for a walk. Take it easy, Heath. We'll talk to you later, buddy. The Reading Railroad was one of the few railroads that actually specifically ran Camelbacks, whether they were 04 or 06. I think they had some other ones too. Well, I think the one that Mantua did was an 06. I think it was an 060. But that was a unique locomotive. To a point, I really wish I would have bought that years ago, and I didn't do it. Central New Jersey was another one that ran Camelbacks, but I think they may have gotten them from the Reading originally. Hey, CDP 1965, how you doing, guy? Um, so I got an auction one time. They had a Bachman Southern 280 with DCC, and I think I bought it for 45 or 50. That's nice, Randall. Yeah, sometimes you can find some decent stuff, but I'd say out of the 75% of the stuff that I've ever bought off of eBay was exactly what I was expecting. The other 25%, I was extremely disappointed, and I should have known better. And I learned really quick how to watch what was going on with eBay. Watching how many rate or how the rating was going for the seller and so on and so forth, and But I haven't been on eBay in a while because I just haven't had the time to mess with it. So got busy in the railroad, got busy in the train room, lost track of time. For some reason, Chuck, that seems to happen. I don't know why. Reading was some cool steam locomotives. I wish they had made them an N scale. That's one of those things, Darren. I know that for years the N scale stuff was extremely limited, but nowadays it's really picking up. I mean, it really is. It's really good to see the variety that is an N scale now. Ah, did Drew pop in? I didn't see Drew pop in. Drives my wife's nuts. Yeah, I've been there a few times. Hey, Drew, there is Drew from Nordell. Welcome aboard, guy. How you doing? Trust me, there was one night when I was over at my old house. I was downstairs messing around with the railroad. The next thing I know, I get a text message on my phone. Are you coming to bed? And I'm like, what time is it? Oh, shoot, it's 11:15. Oh, man. Yeah, I hate when that happens, Randall. The one that got away. And I've let a few of them get away. Jason will tell you I've let a few of them get away, only because of the fact that I haven't been in the market for a few of the things that I'm looking for. Yeah. Like I said, Darren, it's who knows? If there's enough, I think it's going to be one of those things. There has to be enough want for stuff like that. So it's who knows? I mean, it's manufacturers, and I think it was on Sparky's stream too, where they talked about manufacturers aren't going to build something just for the sake of building it. They need to sell it. If they make 100 units and they can't sell one of them, they've lost, however many dollars it is to go ahead and manufacture those 100 units. So they're not going to do it. There has to be a demand for that particular locomotive or for that particular piece. And that kind of sucks. It really does. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why for years, in N scale especially, ATSF stuff was like a dime a dozen. I mean, you saw it all over the place. And then, to try and find something different, you couldn't find it. When you get into the rolling stock, it's a little bit different. You can do different. You can go ahead and manufacture a blank slate and put whatever you want on the side of a boxcar or a gondola car, tank car, whatever. But when you start getting into specific locomotives, kind of like what, Mantua did with the two that are sitting here, they only made a certain number of units, and I'm not sure if they ever sold them all. Yeah, I really don't. So, I don't know if they ever did. And that's probably one of the reasons why they're no longer around. And they made all those units and they couldn't sell them. They couldn't get rid of them. So, I mean, some of the more popular ones, like the Crescent, they could probably get rid of, but the other ones, not so much. Darren, the only one that I know of that actually had a steam locomotive that actually, quote unquote, puffed, was put out by a company called American Flyer. And I've actually got one of their locomotives sitting over on the display case. It's not mine. It actually belongs to one of my former coworkers. He retired earlier this year, and it had been on loan to me because he was in the house he was in. He didn't have any place for an actual HO layout, so he had a whole bunch of N gauge stuff or N scale stuff, and he loaned me his American Flyer just so I could go ahead. Well, first it wasn't running when he gave it to me, so I got it running, and then he said, "Just hold on to it. I know where it's at. And eventually, when I get my house, I'll build an HO layout and I'll ask for it back." I'm like, "All right, fine." He says, "I know where you're at." He says, "If I want it," he said, "I'll come get it." So, and of course, then the pandemic broke out, and he's only been over here one time, and that right before the pandemic broke. That was right before the showstopper started. So, anyway. U-33C in Illinois Central colors. Was that the Death Star scheme, or was that one of the other ones, Randall? I'm sorry, I'm only familiar with the Death Star scheme. Everybody seemed, that's kind of like the New Haven with their McGinnis paint scheme. That was really cool. I like that paint scheme. Unfortunately, I don't have any of those locomotives. But yeah, the only New Haven I've got is that the orange pumpkin with the big black NH on the side. The E33 that I've got, which is a great running locomotive. That's a Bachmann Spectrum, and I know people knock Bachmann over here, but that's a great locomotive. That the only thing of it is you cannot run that thing on anything less than 22-inch radius because it will not work. The way that the trucks are set up, it will not run on it at all. Did score a GP30 in Illinois Sun. That's nice. I've got a GP30 that's in Santa Fe in a Santa Fe paint scheme. That's eventually going to get repainted for the home road. Drew, I'm looking forward to watching your video with my buddy George. Oh, that was the orange and white scheme. Okay. I got you. Yeah, I always hear people talk about the Death Star scheme. Oh, man. I tell you, it's one of those things. A while back, I was watching something, one of the videos, and somebody had a wheeling in Lake Erie. I forgot. I think it may have been a boxcar or something like that. And I'm like, wait a minute, I thought that was Rio Grande's paint scheme, and it was like, no, that's the way it was. I thought it was a custom paint scheme. I'm like, well, that's really cool, but that looks kind of like the Rio Grande, and it's like, no, that's their actual paint scheme. I'm like, okay. The old wheeling in Lake Erie. Let's see. Yep. Yeah. Don't forget, folks. And I know John just posted up, and we're 18 minutes over, and I actually started early. And I know I'm babbling at this point. Nice, Randall. The SD7. Well, of course, the SD70 is a bit too new for the what I've got behind me, but that's okay. That's cool though. That's cool. Yep, and like I was getting ready to say, I know I'm babbling. I've been at this for an hour and 19 minutes, I think it is. Really appreciate everybody popping in here tonight and having the discussion. I'm sure I've missed a few things. Hopefully you all got something out of what I was showing off tonight. It's kind of neat to go down memory lane. It really is. When you're dealing with the stuff that I've got, between the N gauge or the N scale and then the HO scale stuff. So, if anybody wants to go ahead and promote their channel or let us know where you're at as far as subscribers, that's cool. Just to let you know, I'm up to, I think it was 382 subscribers when I looked earlier. John just posted my Teespring store. I've got a Teespring store open. I also have a PayPal.me. If you want to help me out, or not help me out, but help the channel. Because as I've mentioned before, anything that comes in from any type of profit that comes in from any of those is going to come back. 95% is going to come back to you all in the community for the support. I really do appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber and you're in here, I do appreciate you being in here, but go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, fill it in. And if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up, man. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like we talked about last Saturday. I've been in the hobby a while. I've basically been in the hobby 40 plus years, and I enjoy a couple different facets. But right now, that thing, that thing is the project. By the way, I know I mentioned, I think on somebody's stream the other night that there was going to be a vlog out this weekend. That didn't happen. Because of the fact that I got tied up. I was at my brother's house moving him in until 7:30 last night. By the time I got home, I was done. I was back up there again today until about 6 o'clock tonight. So that vlog will probably be edited and will come out sometime, maybe tomorrow after Nate and Tom, if Tom has his stream. Tomorrow night it'll probably come out after all of that. Georgia. Anthony, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Train Freak is at 325 or 352 subs. Man, he's catching up to me, folks. Dang it, I've been at this longer. It's all good. It's all good. And John number 2 from Schuylkill River Valley's got a 500 sub contest going on. Go check that out. Hey, Anthony, I tell you what, buddy, once things clean up with a showstopper and you can come up here, I'll let you run the Southern unit. Yeah, that's true, Darren. I mean, there was a time where I was in the eBay probably for about 4 hours a day watching stuff just to see what's going on. Fred Wild, I had a video I put up 2 days ago that has 1,500 views. Way to go, buddy. Nice. Nice. Corey, thank you. I appreciate that. Take it easy. Have a good night. Well, that it is what it is, Darren. I've got something like 75 locomotives sitting down here. Probably, I'm going to say 25 to 30% of them won't or cannot be converted to DCC. So, because of the fact of the way that they're set up, there's just no way. I've got a bunch of Athearn Blue Box back there that can, but like I've told folks in the past, I am absolutely at the moment and nowhere near ready to start making the move to DCC. It's just I want to get this thing. I want to get this thing done. I shouldn't say done because a model railroad is never done, but I want to get this thing to a point where it's operationally 100%. And when the next vlog comes out, you'll understand why I said I want to get it to a point where it's operationally 100%. Let's see. It was nice to see some of the box sets. Thank you, Sparky. I appreciate that. Have a good night. Have a good night, Sparky. Let's see. Everybody's saying good night to Sparky. Marky Saunders, good night. Take it easy, buddy. Fred, I don't understand it, but I'll take it. I hear you. Sometimes I don't understand YouTube's analytics either, but I'll take whatever they'll send me. Let's see, what else have we got going on? It looks like the chat kind of just froze on me on StreamYard because I've only been watching StreamYard. I never did pull up YouTube. I don't know why I never went over to take a look to see what YouTube was actually saying or doing, but hey, it is what it is. STS number 4. Hey, look at that. It actually did show up. Oh, give me a minute. I'm probably going to have to mute this thing when it shows up because I'm going to start to echo. Alpha Bravo Charlie, Delta Echo. Oh, give me a minute. I'm probably going to have to mute this thing when it shows up because I'm going to start to echo. Yep, there we go. Let's see. And of course, now my computer's acting flaky. Three more hours. No, Jason. Nope, that ain't gonna happen, Jason. I'm gonna go ahead and kill this. YouTube side. 3 more hours. Yeah, that's definitely not gonna happen. You know what? I forgot all about going ahead and clicking on stuff to do that. Sorry. Yeah, that's true, Randall. Sometimes you got to do. But see, my problem is I can't do a short video. See, I get the talking and I can't stop. Oh, we got an early meeting with the Brits. Blimey. Well, you have a good morning there, you bloke. That was terrible. Oh my goodness. What is that hot dog question again? What? Oh my gosh, I must have missed something. I don't want to know. Anyway, don't forget that Rick Bailey, the Fultz Bailey Railroad, has got Sidetrack Sunday next week. Make sure you tune in. I don't know what he's got planned, but I'm sure he's got something up his sleeves. So for the rest of us that are still hanging out in the chat and watching me ramble on, you all know the deal. Wait for the high ball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch you all next time. Be safe. God bless. And to those in America, have a good Thanksgiving. Be safe out there. See ya. Well, I guess I can run a little bit longer because John number 2 just threw up the link to hey, you know what? I forgot all about this. See, I can't get a studio audience either, but that's okay. See you, folks.